In the highland silence of colonial Kenya, a labourer named Mogo sat quietly in his mud-walled hut, fired from his job, rejected by his neighbours, and branded something worse than a thief, a wizard. On May 12, 1929, armed with nothing but a spear, he rose from that silence and committed one of the most shocking mass murders in East African history. By sundown, 12 people were dead, men, women, children, even his own wife, daughter, and child. This is the story of Mogo, a man labelled a sorcerer whose descent from isolation to mass murder stunned colonial Kenya. For 6 years, Mogo, a native of the Sebe community, lived and worked as a squatter on a European-owned farm about 6 miles from Kitale town. The estate belonged to Mr. Weller, a settler and farmer. Mogo kept to himself, quiet, brooding, a man of few words, but his solitude soon made him a target. Other African labourers on the farm began to whisper. They accused Mogo of being a wizard, someone who practiced black magic. Rumours spread that he had spiritual powers, that he brought misfortune, and that animals behaved strangely around him. Everything changed on May 11, 1929. After years of steady work, Mogo's contract came up for renewal, but this time Mr. Weller, the European manager, refused to renew it. Workers had voiced fear. They said Mogo's presence brought misfortune. Crops failed, children fell ill. The rumours became too loud to ignore. In front of other labourers, Mogo was fired and ordered off the estate. No warnings, no farewell, just rejection. The dismissal wasn't just about employment, it was a public humiliation. In Sebe culture, being labelled a sorcerer was not only shameful, it was social death. After being dismissed, Mogo returned to his hut, humiliated and rejected. He said nothing to his neighbours, he didn't leave. He sat in silence for a full day, nursing the insult. By the afternoon of May 12th, Mogo made his decision. He reached for his spear and stepped into the open air. Not as a labourer, but as a man determined to punish those who had mocked and shunned him. The first to die was his wife. In his mind, she had betrayed him. She had denied him food and intimacy, and he saw this as another mark of rejection. Mogo speared her to death inside their hut. Then he turned to their infant child and killed the baby too. His rage uncoiled with every step. Next, he entered the hut of a man with whom he had quarrelled in the past. He killed him, then seriously injured another man who tried to stop him. As he moved across the homestead, he came across an elderly woman carrying firewood. She never saw the spear coming. He killed her where she stood. Then he entered another hut and murdered 2 women and 2 children, all within minutes. His next target was his daughter. When he reached her hut, she was gone. Still holding the bloodied spear, Mogo stormed into the fields. He came across a group of men herding cattle and attacked them too, wounding several. Eventually he found his daughter, herding goats near the edge of a forest. She fled, screaming into the trees. He chased her, and there, in the thick brush, he killed her. His own flesh and blood. By the end, 12 people were dead. News of the massacre spread quickly. Mr. Weller, the farm's owner, was alerted and rushed to the scene. He armed 2 African workers with rifles and instructed his Maasai herdsmen, known for their courage, to stop Mogo. But no one dared engage him. The men refused to confront Mogo, not out of cowardice, but fear. They believed Mogo's supernatural powers made him invincible, even dangerous to look at. To them, this wasn't just a man, it was a spirit in human form. By the time Mr. Weller returned with police and a doctor, Mogo was not hiding. He was at home, preparing to move his livestock off the land, calm, defiant, and unafraid. When the police arrived, he didn't resist. In fact, he led them from body to body, explaining exactly what had happened. He showed no remorse. He asked only for his wages and requested that his body, once executed, be buried far from the village that had shamed him. Colonial officers, shocked by the magnitude and calmness, suspected insanity, but psychiatrists disagreed. Mogo was not mad. He was logical, articulate, and aware of what he had done. He believed it was justice, delivered his way. After his arrest, Mogo was taken to the colonial jail and formally charged. Although he had killed 12 people, including his wife, daughter, and several neighbors, the state chose to prosecute him for only one murder, that of a woman named Kasenwa. This wasn't a sign of mercy. It was a common legal strategy in British East African courts at the time. Since Mogo had already confessed to the killings and the evidence was overwhelming, the prosecution focused on the strongest and most direct case. Charging him with a single, clearly proven murder allowed the court to secure a conviction quickly and avoid the lengthy process of proving all 12 deaths one by one. He stood trial for Kasenwa's murder, and the jury found him guilty. There was no plea of insanity. Mogo remained defiant and composed, even as the judge read his sentence, death by hanging. He later appealed to the Court of Appeal for Eastern Africa, but his appeal was dismissed. The verdict stood, and the execution was carried out. Colonial administration moved swiftly to carry out the sentence. He was transferred to prison custody, and in accordance with the law of the time, he was executed by hanging. There is no public record of his final words. No detailed description of his demeanor on the gallows has survived in official archives. What is known is that the execution was carried out without delay, and the law considered the matter closed. So, was Mogo a cold-blooded killer, or a man crushed by shame, fear, and spiritual exile? When a person is stripped of dignity, accused without defense, and pushed beyond silence, what are they capable of? Let us know what you think in the comments.